Ooh, amen, brother. Amen. Wow. Welcome to HBCU Drumline Talk. My name is Ricardo. What a great way to start this episode off, man. And once again, I'm joined by my brother in percussion, my friend in life, EP the Great. And man, after seeing that clip right there, it just makes me want to pick up my sticks. But I will tell you, this
Show
episode.
Show him some, Rick. Show him some.
I got the sticks right here.
Maybe later.
So as you guys see, we're talking to Edward Waters tonight. Edward Waters, the Asassinz Drumline. So we have Mr. Nick Jackson and Mr. Ricky Oglesby, who's going to go ahead and take over. Tell us about yourselves.
I'm from Orlando, Florida. Just a little bit about me. I've been doing percussion since middle school. Been in percussion, and went to Bethune-Cookman, and from there, then I came right to Jacksonville and got to work. And now currently teaching Duval County Public Schools. I also work with Edward Waters, and I'm a student at UNF right now too. So
good for you.
Well, again, my name is Nicholas Jackson, from Augusta, Georgia. I've been playing drums since I was 9. I want to say about the fourth grade. So about 9, about around that time. Went to Bethune-Cookman, of course, played snare drum and tonal drum 3. After that, graduated, was percussion instructor for a few sections, different high school sections, in Florida, Georgia area. And
I got one of your guys, yeah.
Yeah, I work for Duval County Public Schools as well. Yeah, that's it. That's all I can think of, just saying off the muscle.
Okay, cool. So welcome to HBCU Drumline Talk. Thanks for that brief introduction. EP, you got anything you want to add to that?
No, just welcome. Thanks for taking time out. Come on our little cast.
Yeah.
I know you guys are busy, but appreciate it.
Yeah.
No problem.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure, man. It's a pleasure.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, no problem. It's great to have you guys on. So we're going to jump right on in. And something that we like to do is just the first question is an icebreaker question. So when did your journey with percussion begin? It doesn't matter who goes first.
Well, like I said, I'm from Orlando, Florida. So kind of started in middle school. I had aspirations of being an athlete. So before then, I really didn't, get into the music. I always wanted to do it, but I started around middle school, learned from a guy at church, actually. I didn't learn set, but he showed me just pretty much the fundamentals of reading and percussion. And then I, joined middle school band and played with the high school. I went to Jones High School in Orlando, Florida. It's a very prestigious high school in Orlando, Florida. Got a lot of history at that high school. But from there, my percussion instructor, he was a member of Sudden Impact. So that kind of gave the influence and where I took my talents. So, and then I learned from Mr. Ori, man. He's a legend, man. So I enjoyed my time there. I learned a lot from him, and that's pretty much my percussion story.
Sounds good.
Well, mine is a little. I can kind of answer that a couple ways, but I'll answer it like this. My percussion journey started at 111 Cedar Street, Augusta, Georgia. My cousin, kind of really, got me going. So, for say, he marched in high school, played snare, was a section leader. So, seeing the drum pad and sticks just laying around, eventually you're gonna pick them up and, make noise, but, I kept picking them up and making noise, and eventually I started liking what I was doing. So like I said, that was around, and then any other kid, I started around that time Drumline came out. So once Drumline came out, I saw Drumline, I was like, hey, it's pretty cool, so right. After that, it kind of got serious, and I'm here now.
That's good. That's pretty impressive. So I think you guys said something that was really inspirational here. Fundamentals of reading in percussion. That's major. And EP, we hear it time and time again, man. This movie Drumline, Nick Cannon, we're still waiting for you.
Yeah, we need you on the cast, man. Need you on the cast.
Yeah, yeah. So
Um,
it's good.
but I see. So both of you guys went to the BCU, Bethune-Cookman University, studied under the great Professor Ore, the legend. So next question: what knowledge or teachings did you bring from BCU to Arrow Waters?
Well, just a uniform way of looking. That was kind of like the thing that kind of led me to Bethune-Cookman when I seen them. Because I mean, like I said, my high school was a very prominent high school in Orlando, so they also had a lot, like the original band director from that high school. He was a FAMU graduate, so we had some of that influence as well. But what kind of set Cookman aside was when I seen them and just how everything looked together. Like it was just like, wow. Like I had, I had little exposure musically to, the drumline world. Like, I mean, until I got to college, I mean, other than FAMU and Cookman, I hadn't really experienced, because I stay in Florida. I'm from Orlando. So, I mean, it's just kind of really what's around us, You only know what you know, and you don't know what you don't know. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that kind of, led me to them, but just the precision and kind of some concepts of how he uses the structure of how he write his, his show music, or things that kind of go to like a dance girl feature. I took some of those elements and kind of try to, put my spin to it. But of course, I mean, Bill Belichick is a great coach, and the coaches that learn from him gonna use some things that he used. I mean, that's just kind of, I mean, you're gonna eat the meat and spit out the bones. So that's kind of, what I try to bring to the table.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Mr. Jackson, did you bring it? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm kind of piggyback off what he said, basically, but I'm gonna kind of answer it in my own way. Basically, like perfection. Like every section I taught, I walked in, hey, perfection from the door, like perfection. So that, and basically, like Rick just said, with like the writing, like how Mr. Oy, his approach to how he writes things. So it's kind of like, you take a little bit of that, and you kind of put your own spin to it. I don't went out. Okay. Yeah, I don't went out. I'm back in now. So yeah, kind of take that, how he writes, put your own spin to it, and then kind of basically, with like back to the perfection thing. Like, I'm a perfectionist, even in life. Like, so, that's just me, period.
And I'd also add that, with Nick, again, where we come from kind of inspires what we do and how he approach things. Nick is from Augusta, and Mr. Jackson. Mr. Jackson is from Augusta, and he spent some time in Atlanta, so they're exposed to a couple of different things. So bringing him on the team kind of bring that different little flavor of, and we could put a little potluck together and make something happen.
I like to call us the Splash Brothers, man.
Splash Brothers.
That's
Okay.
what I like to call it. I like to call it us the Splash Brothers. I wouldn't say Jordan and Pimpy because of what they got going on now, but yeah, I would like to say this is we the Splash Brothers.
Okay. Cool. Like it.
Cool. So interesting points, uniformity and perfection. And I think EP and I can both talk about this, and you guys can agree, it's very hard to go somewhere else. And especially if you're coming from another HBCU, right? And you have those influences from the HBCU you came from. I think one of the hardest things is the individuality, right? Not trying to make that line that you're working with, sound like the other line. Yep. So how exactly, even though you guys are from Bethune-Cookman, how did you get Edward Waters to buy into your system?
Well, I'll say it really wasn't that hard from the aspect. One, just visually, when I came, I was young. I was 25. I was about to be 26. So I was real young, and I mean, I looked like them. And then Nick was on the line at this time too. And when I was at Cookman, we had a performance at the Jaguars game where it had Bethune-Cookman, and it had Edward Waters there too. And then they had the Jaguars Drumline. So we all performed individually, and then we all played something together. So of course, we had some time together, like, well, we, you know, had some downtime, and I kind of, you know, talked with the guys, not on no animosity stuff, but, you know, just talking drums. And
we were just mingling. Everybody was kind of just mingling.
At that point. So some of them kind of remember, when I got there, some of them were still there. So they had, you know, remember my face. And then anytime, even when I worked with a high school or even a middle school group, like when I don't know what happened to the percussion instructor before me. I don't really know how long he was there or whatever, or what the time he was there. But when I was teaching like middle school lines and high school lines, you would have a situation where when they kind of just wanted a percussion instructor, or they just really wanted to learn. So anybody coming bringing in new information, new knowledge, like they're gonna just soak it in. And that was kind of what happened when I got there. So it was just like, hey, you know, I came in humble, not on a high horse. You know, you gotta respect what they did before and how things were going. And too, you know, and you kind of got to infuse your things in slowly, you know, so you got to kind of learn the ropes. So you can't just come in and just change completely everything. But it was one of those situations where we kind of just was on the same page of where we wanted to go, like, and how they wanted to be viewed, you know, in terms of everybody else in the HBCU world, or in any drum world for that sort. So
yeah, good point.
That was that. But I would also say, you know, it wasn't too traumatizing, because I mean, yeah, we have a lot of HBCUs with culture, I mean, you know, history, but Edward Waters their history isn't as deep as, you know, as most of the top tier HBCU drumlines, you know, where, you know, the Jackson State and Bethune-Cookman and Norfolk and A&T and all those lines. So, I mean, I didn't really have, it wasn't a clear, you know,
really.
I had some room to, you know, kind of add my things in there and not overstep too you know, any lines or whatever.
Cool.
Gotcha.
But I mean,
all right. So go ahead. No, sorry. Go ahead. My bad.
And yeah, I mean, like I say, overall, I appreciate those guys. First of all, I want to give a shout out to Kendrick Redden. He gave me an opportunity, man. He taught me in high school, and you know, he seen something in me when I graduated. So I really appreciate that. I want to thank God too. First of all, I mean, it couldn't happen without God.
Yeah.
But
there it is.
Sure, Kendrick Redden, he gave me an opportunity, you know, to learn, and I did a lot of learning. It was a lot of learning because I mean, I was kind of, you know, young at that time. You don't know what you don't know. You learn as you go on. So yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So speaking on that system, let's take a look at this video real quick. So in this particular video, who arranged this and what was the thought process behind it?
Well, I want to say I'm a brother of Kappa Alpha Psi. I'm a noob. You know what I'm saying? To the day I die. And the guy who wrote it, he's also a noob. He's a EWC, now EWU graduate.
Okay.
Travis Marcel Thomas. He wrote the cadence. And it's crazy. I've known him for a while, and I didn't know he wrote the cadence. And I just spoke with him today. So, kind of the mindset, it was just, he would come up with a groove, or he'll come up with a theme, and he'll give an idea to the people in the section. He'll kind of let them ad lib a little bit with that cadence he spoke about. So, but even in their visuals and in the names that they kind of make, they kind of wanted it to just go along with the name Assassin. So that's really, just from a creativity standpoint or a visual standpoint, but musically, kind of from what he, mentioned to me, it just seemed like, okay, he had started a groove, and, they, expound upon that. I mean, back in those, because it's more of a traditional cadence. I want to say he was around the time, in the early 2000s. So, cadences were a lot different than what you hear for the most part, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right now, what you hear in Hbcu Drumline. So that was kind of their approach from what he told me.
Yeah.
Got you.
But
so
and I didn't mean to cut you off, sorry about it. But
no, you good.
We have made some, some changes to certain parts, to kind of spice it up and make it, fit, today's time or whatever. So, yeah.
So speaking on that same video, the timestamp for I'm speaking on 403 to 419. There was some intricate bass parts, in there. Mr. Jackson, how do you guys approach, I guess, tonals down in Florida? What's y'all approach on tonals?
Well, being that I am not from Florida, I am from Georgia.
Well, yeah.
I'm going to spin this off to, but I am going to answer a part of this question though. But I'm going to spin it off to Rick. The last part of that cadence, where the snares was doing the back rank, on the back sticking, we was in the back lot running cadences, and we was running that cadence in particular, and Mr. O'Hill was like, hey, play this, went back there, taught it to him, ran it a few times, and I was like, I was standing in front of the section, he was in the back, so I was like, okay, like, I get where you're going, and it kind of really stuck from there, but I'm gonna, let him answer how you approach tonals in Florida.
Well, like I spoke about earlier, like I say, I'm from Orlando, so most of what we've seen and tried to mimic was, either again FAMU or Cookman, and in our case, our percussion instructor was from Cookman, so we had a lot of influence from them. And in that time, I joined the band around like the 2003 era, 2004, like, so around that era. Tonal use, I mean, even then when Cookman had their tonal line and, the early 2000s, late 90s, they were doing minimal, just front and back, up and down type of stuff. So that's really kind of the approach. And, as time went on and, you got YouTube, you can get high school see other things too. So now you might hear an A&T cadence or somebody else cadence in Florida too. Cause now, you can look at on YouTube and, learn some things, but
yeah.
That kind of was the approach. You hear a lot of up and down and 30 seconds and triplet 16s, but and then you got also consider the FAMU style too. Then they might have like a melodic rhythm going, like not necessarily 30 seconds of 16 triplets, but they probably have some dum 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 dum, like something like that going along, and that's kind of how they use their tonals. So tonals really weren't used like, well, with the mindset of what I was trying to do right there. Mindset, like kind of how I try to, how we approach tonal at Waters. I kind of try to line the snares up with the tone, or the tonals with the snares a lot. So things don't be so cluttered. You know what I mean? You could get the opportunity to hear what's going on, and it's, kind of dubbed, so to speak. Like if you, from a producing standpoint, like it's dubbed, that sound is dubbed. So it's cutting across that field. Like you hear the rhythms that's coming across the field. That's really kind of what I prefer. And then, I take the meat and spit out the bones. I'll take some stuff, like some concepts of some other lines that I've seen, or try to approach things their way and put a spin on it. But that's kind of the approach that I try to do is mainly with the tonals, like from a recruitment standpoint, how we well, I'll let you get to that question, but yeah, snares. I try to line the snares up with the tonals a lot.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
And to add on to that, we both have our different ways of, how we write snare and tonal parts together. Like, it's a piece that he wrote. It's called 95 North, and it's it's deep. Like you hear how he approaches it, and you will hear how I approach and stuff that I write. So that's what kind of make it, so it's not like you're going to get the same thing every time. You're not going to get the same sound, the same
way of thinking,
the same way of thinking,
or
structure, and how the way the runs are even, just the typical, you're going to start on tonal one, we both like to, just go everywhere with it sometimes. So yeah, that just to add on to that question.
Okay.
Yes,
it's some lines only have one instructor, but your guys, they blessed with two amazing instructors, Edward Waters, they blessed with both of you guys. But yeah, good stuff.
And let me just say this, that clip that we just watched is fire. It was real deal.
It was my favorite. That's why I chose that video.
Yeah.
It was my favorite.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So as we transition here, there are some other HBCUs in Florida, and we all know who they are. And I think what we want to really look at is what really separates Edward Waters from those other lines. And the second part of that question is the bigger picture, right? Now, what really separates Edward Waters from the other HBCU drum lines as a whole?
Well, I speak on the Florida one, and I'll let him answer the other one. In terms of Florida, I think we give a good diversity of sound. Like I say, Mr. Jackson, that being from Augusta and Atlanta definitely influences a lot of different type of ideas in terms of how he writes and how he structures his music. So you're gonna get a feel from him, then you're gonna get my feel, which is, I'm from Florida, but I got some other concepts of things that I like from other places. Definitely like one area like the Virginia and North Carolina area. I love their tonal lines and what they do out there, and just how they approach percussion in general. I love it. So I take some of those things too, but the diversity in our sound is really what I think will set us apart. I mean, FAMU do what FAMU do, and they do it well. And so does Bethune-Cookman, but I feel like we'll be able to provide just a little bit more diversity in sound.
Cool.
What sets us apart from other HBCU drum lines, I would say diversity. Like, really in our material now. I feel like the material that's in our, what we play now is, you got a mixture of groove, got a mixture of chops, the material that the world hasn't heard yet definitely has all of that in one. So, it's kind of like, we're definitely not a typical Florida drumline. Like, I hate when people, they look like Cookman. No, we don't. So yeah, like I feel like just diversity, like in our material, like, like he said, like, we kind of got room to add, but not overstep like the boundaries. So, what I'm saying? Of course, like, we're still tweaking, fixing. Okay, we like this, like that. So, but definitely the diversity in our material.
I like to add, it's impossible to look like Cookman. It's impossible to look like Norfolk. It's impossible to look like A&T. They can only do it themselves. Like, they can only do it themselves.
Cool. Some good points.
See, I noticed when people say this school look like this school, they really don't know percussion. I've noticed that. So yeah, no one school looks alike. Everybody has it different. It might sound alike, but
right.
Yeah.
And you guys brought up,
No. It's a school out there that it's some schools out there that looking like, I'm not gonna say them, but it's some schools out there that looking like it. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Leave it at that.
So you guys really both brought up some good points, right? And I think for someone who's watching this who may be interested in, going to Edward Waters, they see, hey, look, we got a chance to come down here. It's very diversified in what they do. They got room to, like you said, we got room to take away. So that's really a good point. So thank you.
All right. So we want to imagine that I'm an incoming freshman, and I want to be a part of Edward Waters Drumline. What's the audition process? What do I need to do to be a part of the Drumline?
Well, we can, I can direct you to the band link. We have a QR code, right?
Yeah,
we got a QR code. But in terms of my email, r.oglesby@ewc.edu, Alvin Davis at ewc.edu. So those names right there you can reach out to us. We'll set you up an audition, whether it's in person or Zoom. We'll do that. Also, in terms of the process, snare, rudiments, solo, sight reading, scales. If you have a prepared piece on Malice, we'd love to hear that. If you have a timpani solo, we'd love to hear that. The more the merrier. The more you add, obviously the more scholarship. The more scholarship you will get. So, and we also have a freshman scholarship that you'll originally get. I'm kind of advertising a little bit on, but. And then, we also have academic incentives. If you have a 3.0, you get, a certain amount of money added to your GIA. So you don't have to you won't have to worry about, overpaying or going in debt. We'll take care of you.
Okay. All right. So freshman, you heard it out there. That's the process. If you want to get with them, get you some email addresses.
I'm sorry. I like to add too. And after that process, then we'll kind of, when you get there, when you get there, we'll fill you out, and we do drum placement at that time, so that'll take place as well. So you'll audition, and then we'll fill you out after that and get you squared away.
Yeah, cool. So just to piggyback up on this, we're going to take a derailment real quick. We're going to go off to the right real quick. And Elisha knows that I love to ask this question, right? So anytime we ask the school, hey, talk to us about that process in regards to the freshman process. So I'm thinking about coming to Edward Waters, right? Give me your pitch to get me to come to your school, to come to Edward Waters. I want to be a part of your drum line. What's your pitch to me?
We welcome all people at Edward Waters. We'd love to have all scholars here. We want you to get your education first.
Yeah.
And if you want to make history, come to Edward Waters. You want to be a member, go somewhere else.
Sounds good to me. I want to make history. So good. With that topic, so obviously you have your incoming freshmen, and we have all been freshmen, coming into a line at one point in time. I know Elijah myself has. We came in at the same time at Virginia State, and what we want to really talk about next is that, just for our instructors out there who are getting ready to start their job as an instructor, we want to take a close look at this next clip. Okay, great. So as a teachable moment for up and coming percussion instructors, please walk us through your instruction process when it comes to stick heights, the importance of listening and playing as a unit, and most importantly, tone quality of the line. And playing style also.
And style. Well, most importantly, I would just say to establish those things, you got to take it slow. I mean, and I can't stress that enough. Like, I mean, in the beginning, because it's gonna seem like time wasted now, but it's time saved later. You got to take it slow, because you're gonna have some guys that's coming from different styles, different areas, different teachings, and you got to kind of all put that in sync together to, like you say, look like one, play with the same, dynamic level or stick heights, even to how to interpret some of the things that they play. If you get a kid from Alabama and, all he knows is what, he knows from that region or whatever he learned from his schools or whoever taught him. Now you got to kind of take what he know and shape that to fit what you do. So that's going to take time, so a lot of people doing some adjusting. So, I would say just, take time working on the basic things that they don't have to think so hard about when they're learning, so they can work on their look. And then, you add that element of new music and all of that stuff. But I kind of take, I like to use analogies. And if you ever seen Coach Carter, like the first game that they had, he didn't practice any offense. He just practiced defense, and he just conditioned them. So I feel like that's just, discipline and the look and the fundamentals.
Yeah, I'm just speaking of the video we just watched. I'm a big fan of just the block warm up, right? The massive. We're gonna just warm up until 3 to 4 minutes of just one continuous warm up that evolves from 8 on the hand to accents to the roll exercises and everything. And I think that gives an opportunity to really get the line to listen to each other. You can really zone in on like the stick side, as you guys saw in the video, pretty much doing that 8 on the hand. That's the basic. Every line out here, it starts with that 8 on the hand, to kind of get that sound going out. And I always go back to, just the block warm up, when Elijah and myself came in, let's do 8 on the hand, boom, 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 boom. We knock that out, stop. What's a roll exercise to count it off again? And I was never really a fan of, hey, look, let's just roll it, keep rolling through the whole thing without stopping and everything. And I think from a tone quality of you guys' line, looking at that video, the tone is really good. And can you guys talk to that?
Want to add? Well, you want to go? Oh, yeah.
But what? So what am I?
I got you. Well, ideally, when I was thinking about it, like you say, just how you said it, I kind of like that block. I like just it's going in, and even in the concept of writing up warm-ups, I want things to make sense. So I wanted to be playing a warm-up of things that we don't play later. You know what I mean? Like, so some of how I build up, our sequence, I wanted to, and we still haven't played the whole sequence because we still got some things that guys just, took their time in learning. But, just the idea of my warm-up sequence is going to have things in it that's going to help us play anything that we play, for, so to speak. So I took one, just for instance, like one of the warm-ups, it's called parabetic. It's a paradiddle warm-up. Got paradiddle taps, paradiddle diddles, just any type of diddle rudiment in there. So we had a piece called Oakland, and we had a paradiddle tap part in there that was, guys struggled on. So the next year I'm just like, hey, we're gonna have a warm-up on this. So anybody coming in, they're gonna already, have a feel for how to do that. And so that's just kind of the idea of what I be thinking when I do the warm-ups sequence.
Yeah. I want to ask something to like advice for like young instructors. Another thing is learn your students. Just don't try to come in, you done wrote the hardest cadence in the world and you try to pass it out knowing that, they can't even do 8 on the hand, or 8 on the hand is not even, in sync. So just learn your students and take it slow. And it's okay not to, it's okay not to be chopping. It's okay. Like, as long as you have a good sound and you fundamentally sound, like you will get to the point where you can advance and you can add harder material, but you gotta crawl before you walk. Like you just didn't get up and start walking. Like you gotta crawl before you walk. So it's kind of like you gotta build, you gotta build your students up to the point where you want them to be. So you just can't walk in, especially if you're not walking into a kind of ready-made situation where like someone like you basically walking in behind a good instructor. So if you're walking into something just fresh, yeah, like learn your students, take it slow. You got to put in the work, you know what I'm saying? And be patient, like be patient. And don't add, don't try to stack them with 10, 15 cadences either. Get you a set amount of cadences and work on that. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Get you a certain amount of cadences, work on that, master those, and then you push the envelope, kick the ball, then you'll be able to kick the ball a little bit more and push the envelope. So yeah, that's all I wanted to add to that.
Let me add to them too. Also, you don't have, well, I never had to learn this myself because I got a lot of things going on. I don't have to make up everything. I don't have to write everything. I'm not.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
I had a couple students wrote some things. I also have some, colleagues that that write that. So if I like it or if I feel like it fit what we kind of got going on, but you don't have to write everything, yourself, and you don't have to make up everything yourself. Give room for the students to make up, and other sources of creativity. I like to add too that the guys who wrote some things for us. AJ Vega, he's a great guy. He's a great writer.
He's a great writer.
Aaron Fields.
My section leader.
Who else? Jose Perez, Nick Jackson.
Dontavia Seaborn.
Yeah, Dontavia Seaborn too. So
okay, cool.
I'm sorry. One more thing, and make sure your intentions are pure, because it's a lot of that going on right now. Like people are in front of these sections for I, and it's not for the cause. It's for I. Like it's I. It's not. You don't have the students. Well, you don't have the students' best interest. It's I. Make sure your intentions are pure, and I promise you won't fail if your intentions are where they need to be or in the right place.
Cool.
Mr. Oglesby, you shared a gem, and it might went past some people's, head out in the audience. He's talking about warm-ups. You should warm up with what you're gonna play during the season. You shouldn't be warming up on some hybrids, but you don't have no hybrids in your show music or cadences. That's something you said, but some people probably missed it. Focus your warm-ups on what you plan for the season, or you want to prepare for the next season. Your warm-up should, mimic that.
Very good points. Very good points, gentlemen.
So going to the next question, we living in this COVID era. Talk to us about the evolution of Edward Waters Drumline pre-COVID to the present.
All right, so pre-COVID is I just specifically that 19 season. 19 season was pretty good, and we was able to get some things going. But then we kind of took a hit with the COVID, and we had a lot of time off. Some of the guys that was building up that were freshmen at that time, they had a lot of time off. So when they came back, and other groups probably feel the same way. When they came back, you kind of had a upperclassman class that was kind of still fresh because they had only had a little bit of time up under their belt. So now it's almost like you got the next full season that we had. It's almost like you had almost a brand new drumline. You got, especially if you had a lot of seniors or people that left at that time. We did. So we had a really young line. It was kind of hard to, rely on some of the younger guys to give me the same effect that the veterans was doing. So that was different. But it also, I feel like we took a hit with discipline. And I think that's on all levels, like I say, because we was kind of figuring things out. Some people skeptical about coming back. So, they missed that band camp stage. So, you had some kids who might have been around somebody who caught COVID, so they had to extend, waiting out before they came. And now they coming in the middle of the season, so they didn't get the full introduction of how we do things and, what's expected and all of that. So that's just the difficult part about that. kind of just managing that. Then you have some high schools that before COVID, they was not as, moving, because some schools down here, I don't think they practice every day, so now you adjusting to coming to college after having time off and not practicing every day to practicing every day, and, having certain expectations. So it was a lot different, but we made it work. And, it's always, if you roll your sleeves up and you get to work, you'll make it happen.
That's right. You made it work, and it shows.
Thank you.
Yeah,
It really shows.
Mr. Jackson, like I said, I was in school. Mr. Jackson saved lives, man. Like, he saved my life, man.
Yeah.
That schoolwork, graduate level is, man.
Yeah,
it took a lot of time, man. I got a son too, so I got a child, and
Oh yeah.
I'm recently married too, so all of that.
Congratulations.
So,
Congrats.
yeah, appreciate it.
So good points, gentlemen. We're gonna pretty much bring it to a close here, and I just want to say, this whole 2021 marching season was special for everyone. I just want to give applause, thumbs up, big thumbs up to everyone out there who made it on the pitch. When we say pitch, made it on the field, made it through band, this year. So congratulations to everyone. For you guys at Edward Waters, please talk with us about your line's most memorable moment this year.
Well, I think, if you know about Edward Waters, their schedule and the part of the conference that they've been, this is like the second, this was like the first real season of having like a full SIAC, schedule, seeing other people, and then we kicked off the year with Flow Mode. That was two Florida bands that is not FAMU and Cookman, and we trying to get some things going there. So that was a pretty epic game. It was the first game that we had in the stadium, with the new football stadium. So that was a real high moment. We started off high, and then Benedict, Flow Mode and Benedict was probably the most memorable moments.
I got quite a few. First was my birthday. We had practice on my birthday. The guys, guys and young lady,
Queen Deja.
they surprised me with a birthday card. So I wasn't really they knew it was my birthday. Of course they told me happy birthday, but I wasn't really expecting a card and all that. So that kind of touched me in a little way.
Hey, he got a card. Look, I didn't even get a card, so I was like, hold on, wait, but he deserved it.
Yeah, so that was my first one. Flomo, because that was my first game. Of course, as a collegiate instructor, and I got okay, there I go. Yeah, and I we got the battle on the field after the game. Benedict game was personal. I'd rather not talk about it, but Benedict game was personal. I'm gonna say Allen game though. Allen game was probably the best game though.
I missed that game.
Yeah, Allen game was probably the best one. Like they just at that point, it was the last game. I really didn't expect to, really battle. I wasn't expecting to, kind of have a face-to-face exchange. I guess that's what you can call it, because it wasn't really a battle. It was kind of like a little exchange. Both lines sounded good. Shout out to Allen, Mr. Milford, if I'm saying his name right.
Oh yeah, man, he doing a great job.
Yeah.
Even outside of the marching world.
Yeah.
Man.
So shout out to Mr. Milford. So yeah, I'm gonna say Allen probably was my favorite game. So my birthday and Allen was probably like my favorite two, moments from the season.
Cool.
All right, so we have come to an end, of the cast. But before we go, we have a couple of bonus questions that we
It's a bonus time.
Bonus time. So Rick, you want to go first? You want me to ask my question?
Take it.
So, all right. So imagine it's, I don't know, end of October, 2022, next season. We got Edward Waters on the 50. On the other side of, on one side of 50, on the other side of 50, we got Bethune-Cookman. Who takes the W? Face-to-face battle.
E-Dub, baby. We with the dub. We ride with the dub. We all the way.
Here we go. Here we go.
Even though, it's sudden impact, to the day we both die, but
I'm riding with the dub. I'm riding with E-Dub.
We gotta go with who pay us.
Yeah, I'll text Mr. Ore, shake his hand, but that's hey, roll the sleeves up. We got to get it going. You know what I'm saying?
I think that would be really good. That'd be a really good battle to just exchange to just watch as well.
It's really time for it to happen too. So hopefully in the near future,
we definitely open to that.
Yeah, we can make it happen because it is time for that to happen.
Iron sharpen iron.
Yeah, iron sharpen iron.
Okay, cool.
You guys, have watched our cast. I think, we usually do something, at the end of our cast. I heard some sticks clicking in the background. Myself, I'm trying to see something. Mr. Oglesby, your boy Nick said Mr. Jackson said he could dust you off on the snare. No, I'm playing. He didn't say that, but I want to see something on the pass.
You say Nick dust me off?
No.
I'm joking. I was joking.
No, man.
Nah, Nick, like I say, Nick is a phenomenal player, man. I could say that. I remember I was just actually I was a section leader when he came in. Nick got some hands, man.
Yeah.
Like I say, one thing I learned about percussion and about myself, just kind of being confident in what you do, is I feel like, hey, once I get to a certain level, if you better than me, man, you got it. You put in the work. You know what I mean? Hey, you put in the work to be better than me. I gotta respect that. I still know what I know, and I got a degree in music, so I feel comfortable, in what I could provide or what I could do musically. So, in terms of that, like I say, if you better than me, hey, you put the work in. I know what the work it took me to get to where I got. So, hey, if you better than me, I'm gonna shake your hand and hopefully you can show me something.
Hey, I'm gonna give him his flowers while I'm sitting next to him, man. I just want to thank you for giving me the opportunity, man. And thank God, of course. But we wanted to give give him his flowers, for everybody to see, give me the opportunity to even come to even bring me on. It's a lot of people he could have asked, a lot of people, but the fact that he asked me and took me in consideration and trust me and my knowledge and, my love for percussion and, even and like I said, to trust me to stand in front of the section, teach day in, day out, give my input, right, all that. So, appreciate it, man. Like,
No problem.
that forever means a lot to me.
Cool.
No problem.
Cool. Yeah, I would joke, Mr. Oglesby. Mr. Jackson didn't say that. I was just trying to start stuff.
Oh no, I ain't worried. Like I say, I love it. I love that competitive spirit.
That's what's up. All right, so Rick, you got any final thoughts?
Well, any final thoughts as we want to say, Mr. Oglesby and Mr. Jackson, thank you so much for once again coming to share your story with the HBCU Drumline Talk and our viewers. We appreciate you guys coming on to let us know what you guys do down there. And it was about you guys today, and this is for the betterment of everybody. So whoever's interested in Edward Waters, has a great opportunity. Whoever's interested in you guys' drumline has a great opportunity to tune into this and really see what you guys really do down there. So thank you once again for coming on and taking your time with us.
Hey, thank you for having us. Like, we really, 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 really appreciate it. Like, thank you for having us.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, and I want to say thank you. Busy times, COVID, everything, but you guys, took the time out, you guys today to come on. I want to thank the audience and the listeners, for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the like, the Facebook like button, Instagram. We on SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Spotify. This is for the culture, it's not for us. But till next time, everybody can continue to be safe, wash your hands, wear that mask, do what you do.
Right.
Peace.
Please be safe. Have a great evening.